of the things that we had the opportunity to do was to spend quite a bit of time thinking about how would we actually go and do this. And a lot of organisations that are brownfield attempting to transform don't really get that opportunity. To have actually literally sketched on one piece of paper, here's how I think this should work, to walking in the very first time was a pretty memorable event. I did have a couple of kids along through the process of building this, and there certainly were some times that I thought, this actually feels like another one of my children gradually being born and starting to grow up. And certainly now the team runs the remote operations centre, almost feels like that child's headed off to school or something. So the process of getting to here was very much around really passionately wanting to understand how does everything fit together, and taking that apart and then re-putting it back together. And the answer is a little bit different to what it is that most other mining companies have. The thing that we see from taking a systems view is that there is an interconnectedness between people, process, technology, data and equipment and all of those sorts of things. And so developing the organisation to think from a systems perspective means that people start to observe and take into account all of those interdependencies and that interconnectedness. What becomes really interesting is when you see people who, halfway down or below the organisation start to come out with really great ideas around how we can easily, fundamentally step change the performance of the organisation. They're doing it in many ways because they've been enabled to by the fact that we live, breathe and talk as an integrated organisation. The challenging thing is to get people to, in some ways, forget what it is that they've been taught, because if we just did things the way that we have done them before, then we're just going to do them the same way we did them before. How to get people to start thinking is in some ways just throwing out there some outrageous concepts that just force you to think, like, how would you build a control room to mine the moon? Forces people to think really differently about how would you go about doing that, and using your positional power to force them to actually answer the question.